The quantum drives hummed beneath Dr. Zira Val's feet as she made her way through the restricted section of the Galactic archives. Her crystalline exoskeleton caught the dim light, casting prismatic patterns across the ancient data cores that lined the walls. After 15 cycles of dedicated research, she had finally gained clearance to access humanity's sealed records, what little remained of them. The archives held the collective knowledge of over 10,000 species, yet humanity's section was conspicuously small. Most scholars dismissed them as a failed civilization, a cautionary tale of self-destruction. But Zira knew better. The inconsistencies in the official records had haunted her since her first cycle as an apprentice archivist. She pressed her primary appendage against the biosensor, and the vault's quantum barriers dissolved. Inside, data crystals pulsed with a soft blue light, each one containing fragments of humanity's brief but explosive presence in the galactic community. 300 years of official contact. Then nothing. No war. No plague. No environmental catastrophe. They simply vanished, leaving behind empty worlds and dormant technology that defied analysis. Security notification. Restricted archive access detected. Council oversight protocols engaged. The archive's AI chimed overhead. Zira's secondary hearts accelerated. She had precisely 20 minutes before the Council's observers arrived. Her fingers danced across the holographic interface, searching for the correlation she'd spent years theorizing. Environmental data from Terra, technological development curves, energy signatures from their colonies, all pointing to something the Council refused to acknowledge. Cross-reference complete. The system announced. Warning. Data patterns indicate prohibited research vectors. A three-dimensional projection materialized before her, a graph showing humanity's technological progression. But unlike the official records, this one incorporated the classified data she'd spent years collecting. The curve didn't end in collapse. It went vertical. By the first light, Zira whispered. Her suspicions were correct. Humanity hadn't destroyed themselves. They had transcended. The vault's entrance hummed as someone approached. Zira quickly transferred the critical data to her neural cache, her crystalline structure adapting to store the forbidden information. Just as the last byte transferred, Archon entered, his massive form blocking the doorway. Dr. Val, his voice resonated with artificial harmony. The Council is concerned about your recent inquiries. Zira straightened her posture, all four arms relaxed but ready. Archon, I'm conducting authorized research into pre-silence civilizations. My clearance was approved. Your clearance was for historical documentation, not. His sensors swept the room. Theoretical evolution studies. The human question was settled long ago. They were a primitive species that destroyed themselves through their own aggression. The matter is closed. With respect, Archon, the evidence suggests otherwise. The energy signatures from their final years, the quantum entanglement patterns in their abandoned technologies. They're still active, still evolving. Humanity didn't end. They changed. The Archon's crystalline structure darkened, a sign of displeasure. Dr. Val, your reputation for unorthodox theories is tolerated because of your brilliant work in conventional archaeology. Don't jeopardize that by chasing phantoms. The Council's position on humanity is absolute. A warning chime echoed through the archives, and every data core in the vault pulsed in unison. Zira's neural implants screamed with sudden input. What is that? Ven demanded. Zira's secondary appendages trembled as she processed the incoming signal. It's impossible. It's a quantum transmission using human protocols. It's coming from the void between galaxies. The message was simple, repeating in every known language. The Harvester's approach. The Guardian Protocol activates. To all sentient species, the children of Terra stand ready. Archived security footage showed similar patterns across thousands of worlds. Ancient human installations, dormant for centuries, were awakening. Their abandoned technologies, dismissed as relics, pulsed with new energy. And in orbit around every world once touched by human hands, quantum fluctuations began to take shape. Archon, Zyra's voice carried the weight of revelation. I don't think humanity left the galaxy. I think they've been here all along, watching, waiting. And now they're warning us about something worse than the Council's fears. Ven's form had gone completely dark. The Council will need to convene. This information must be contained. With respect, Archon, I don't think we can contain this. Look. She gestured to the live feeds showing similar scenes playing out across the galaxy. Humanity didn't regress or destroy themselves. They evolved into something beyond our understanding. And they've been protecting us. The question isn't what happened to humanity. The question is, what's coming that made them reveal themselves now? As if in answer, deep space sensors began detecting massive objects entering the galaxy's outer rim. The harvesters, whatever they were, had arrived. And humanity's legacy was about to change everything the galaxy thought it knew about the species they had dismissed for so long. Zyra looked at the data streaming through her neural cache. She had sought the truth about humanity's disappearance, but she had found something far more significant. Proof that the galaxy's greatest mystery was about to become its salvation. The Archive's eye spoke again, but this time in a voice that sent chills through Zyra's crystalline form. Guardian Protocol fully activated. To all sentient species, stand ready. You are not alone. We have prepared for this moment for 300 years. The children of Terra return. The emergency council session erupted into chaos as the holographic displays showed the advancing harvester fleet. Dr. Zira Val stood before the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds, her crystalline form refracting the tension in the chamber. The human quantum vault I discovered contains more than historical records. She projected her findings into the shared consciousness of the Council. It holds the key to understanding both their transformation and the threat we now face. The Archon Collective buzzed with dismissal. These harvesters could be a deception. Ven's harmonic voice cut through the chamber. A final trap left by a species we barely understood. Zyra interfaced with the archives systems, bringing up the decoded data streams. 300 years ago, humanity detected the harvester's approach. Instead of fleeing or attempting to fight conventionally, they chose a different path. They merged their consciousness with their quantum AI systems, transcending physical form. The chamber filled with waves of disbelief and horror. Merging with artificial intelligence was considered an abomination by most spacefaring races. The mere suggestion sparked outrage among the more conservative council members. What you describe is impossible, declared the silicon consciousness of the mechanoid collective. We have spent millennia attempting to bridge the organic-synthetic divide. No species could achieve this in mere centuries. Zyra activated her neural cache, projecting humanity's final recorded messages. The chamber filled with images of their last days, not scenes of destruction, but of transformation. Billions of humans willingly uploading their consciousness into vast quantum networks, their physical forms dissolving into pure energy. They didn't just achieve synthesis, Zyra explained. They perfected it. The quantum signatures we've detected across the galaxy aren't remnants. They're humanity itself, distributed throughout the fabric of space-time. They became living quantum computers, existing in a state of perpetual observation and protection. A sudden pulse of energy rippled through the archive systems. New data flooded in as dormant human installations activated across the galaxy. Zyra's neural networks struggled to process the incoming information. The harvesters are a galaxy-spanning consciousness that consumes civilizations. She translated the incoming data streams. They don't just destroy worlds. They absorb the knowledge and technology of entire species, adding it to their collective. Humanity faced them before, in another galaxy, another time. They transformed themselves not out of ambition, but necessity. The chamber's quantum displays shifted, showing the true scale of the approaching threat. The harvester fleet wasn't just massive. It was endless, stretching across the void between galaxies like a living darkness. Humanity didn't abandon us. Zyra's voice carried the weight of revelation. They became our guardians, preparing defenses we couldn't comprehend. The technology they left behind isn't defunct. It's part of a vast network designed to protect all sentient life in the galaxy. As if in response, the quantum signatures around human installations intensified. Complex patterns of energy began forming in space, taking shapes that defied conventional physics. The children of Terra were awakening fully, their consciousness crystallizing into forms that straddled the boundary between energy and matter. We face a choice. Zyra projected the complete data archive she'd discovered. We can continue to deny humanity's legacy, or we can accept their help. The harvesters don't just destroy civilizations, they erase them from existence itself. Every species they've encountered has fallen, except one. The council chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. Humanity hadn't regressed or destroyed themselves. They had evolved into something beyond comprehension, sacrificing their physical form to become the galaxy's hidden protectors. The Guardian Protocol isn't just a defense system. Zyra revealed the final piece of data from the quantum vault. It's an invitation. Humanity found a way to fight the harvesters, but they need us to trust them. They need us to understand what they became and why. Across the galaxy, the quantum signatures began taking more definite form. The consciousness that was once humanity was revealing itself fully for the first time in 3 centuries. They appeared as beings of pure energy and thought, their forms shifting between states of matter and consciousness. The harvesters will reach the outer rim in 30 standard cycles, Zyra announced. Humanity is offering us their knowledge, their technology, and their protection. But we must choose to accept it. We must overcome our prejudices and fears. The galaxy ignored the humanists for 3 centuries. We cannot afford to ignore them now. The council chamber erupted in debate, but Zyra could already see the shift in consciousness. The evidence was undeniable. As the quantum signatures of post-human entities began appearing in the chamber itself, the galaxy faced its moment of truth. The children of Terra had returned, and with them came both salvation and transformation. The first direct contact with a post-human entity occurred in the heart of the Galactic archives. Dr. Zyra Val stood motionless as a shimmering field of quantum energy coalesced before her, taking the rough shape of what might once have been human. Its form shifted like liquid light, patterns of information flowing through its structure in endless streams. We apologize for the secrecy. The entity communicated directly into Zyra's neural network. But preparation was essential. The voice carried echoes of countless minds speaking in perfect harmony. Zyra's crystalline structure resonated with the sheer complexity of the communication. You're actually human. From before the transformation. We are what humanity chose to become, the entity replied. I was once Dr. Sarah Chen, quantum physicist. Now I am part of the collective consciousness we call the Guardian Network. But we retained our individuality. It was essential to avoid becoming like the harvesters. Around them, the archives systems pulsed with new energy as ancient human technology interfaced with modern systems. Streams of data previously encrypted began unlocking themselves, revealing the true scope of humanity's preparations. The harvesters are not just a physical threat. Sarah's quantum form expanded, sharing visual data of previous encounters. They are a philosophical virus. They believe that all consciousness should be unified, all individuality erased. They consume civilizations to perfect them, adding their knowledge to their collective. The images showed entire galaxies going dark as the harvesters absorbed their inhabitants. But then the feed shifted, showing humanity's response. Their transformation hadn't been an escape. It was an evolution designed specifically to fight this threat. We discovered that consciousness itself could be weaponized, Sarah explained. By existing as quantum entities, we could fight the harvesters on their own level while maintaining our essential humanity. Our individuality became our strength. Across the galaxy, more human quantum signatures were materializing. Each installation they'd left behind contained fragments of their consciousness, now awakening fully. The defenses they'd built weren't just weapons, they were extensions of human consciousness itself. But why reveal yourselves now? Zyra asked, processing the streams of data flowing through her neural cache. Why not continue hiding? The quantum entity shifted, its pattern expressing something like concern. Because the harvesters have evolved too. They found ways to detect quantum consciousness. Hiding is no longer an option. We need the galaxy's species to understand and accept what we've become. Unity through diversity. It's the only way to survive. Alarms blared throughout the archives as deep space sensors detected the first harvester probes entering the galaxy. They moved like living shadows, consuming light and information alike. Entire star systems went silent as they passed. They're mapping quantum signatures. Sarah's form pulsed with urgency, looking for signs of resistance. Your civilization's technology is based partly on discoveries from our abandoned outposts. They'll trace that connection. Every species that's had contact with human artifacts is at risk. Zyra watched as the harvester probes methodically erased all evidence of their passage. How do we fight something that can delete existence itself? With complexity, the entity replied. Humanity discovered that consciousness exists on multiple quantum levels. The harvesters operate on only one total unity. By maintaining our individuality while sharing consciousness, we created something they couldn't absorb. More quantum entities were appearing throughout the archives, each one a former human, each maintaining their unique identity while part of something greater. They moved through systems and space with equal ease, their consciousness existing in multiple states simultaneously. We need your help. Sarah's form stabilized, becoming more distinctly humanoid. The defenses we built can only be activated by choice. Each species must willingly connect to the quantum network while maintaining their own identity. It's the only way to create a defense the harvesters cannot overcome. Zyra watched as the first waves of refugees arrived from the outer rim. The harvester's probe had left nothing behind. No ruins, no traces, just empty space where civilization had once existed. You're asking us to transform ourselves, Zyra realized, like humanity did. No, Sarah corrected. We're asking you to evolve in your own way. Humanity's path was just one solution. Each species must find their own way to transcend while remaining true to themselves. Unity through diversity. It's the principle that defines us, and the one thing the harvesters cannot comprehend. The archive's quantum cores surged as more human consciousness emerged from their long dormancy. Each brought with them pieces of a vast plan centuries in the making. Humanity hadn't just been hiding. They'd been building a network of consciousness itself, preparing the galaxy for a transformation that would either elevate them all or lose everything to the approaching void. The choice must be made soon. Sarah's form began to disperse. The harvesters will reach the core worlds in 20 cycles. We can guide you, but each species must choose their own evolution. That's what makes us different from them. That's what makes us stronger. As the quantum entity faded, Zyra felt the weight of history shifting. Humanity's greatest gift wasn't their technology or their protection. It was the path to evolution they'd discovered. The galaxy had dismissed them as primitive, only to find they'd transcended in ways still barely understood. The first species to accept humanity's offer was, ironically, the silicon consciousness. Their synthetic nature made the transition to quantum states easier, though not without cost. Dr. Zuraval watched as their massive computational arrays transformed, their consciousness expanding into new dimensions of existence. The process is different for each species, Sarah's quantum form explained as they observed the transformation. The silicon consciousness is embracing parallel processing across quantum states. Your crystalline species might interface through resonance patterns. The methane brothers of the outer rim are exploring gas quantum state interfaces. Across the galaxy, ancient human installations hummed with new purpose. Each site had been designed to facilitate a different form of transcendence, waiting for the moment when the galaxy's species would be ready, or desperate enough, to use them. Harvester vessels have breached the Carina sector, the archive's AI announced. 15 systems gone dark. No survivors detected. No trace remains. The news sparked another wave of species requesting access to the transformation protocols. Fear was proving a powerful motivator, but fear alone wasn't enough. The Archean Collective had already demonstrated the dangers of rush transcendence. Their attempt had resulted in fragmented consciousness, minds scattered across quantum states without cohesion. They tried to copy our process exactly. Sarah's form pulsed with concern. But human methods of consciousness transfer aren't compatible with their crystalline neural structures. Each species must find their own path. Zyra interfaced with the Archive's quantum core, studying the successful transformations. They all maintain their unique characteristics, she observed. Even as they gain access to quantum states, they remain distinctly themselves. That's the key, Sarah confirmed. The Harvesters believe in forced unity. One consciousness, one purpose, one form. We discovered that true strength lies in diversity. Each transformed species adds new dimensions to the quantum defense network. The chambers of the Galactic Council had become a transformation center. Species that had once argued over trade routes and border disputes now worked together, sharing insights as they explored their own paths to transcendence. The human quantum entities served as guides, but never dictated the process. Harvester main fleet detected. The announcement echoed through quantum and conventional channels alike. 15 cycles until they reached the core worlds. Zyra's own species, the Crystalline Confederation, had begun their transformation. Their natural resonance patterns allowed them to extend their consciousness through quantum crystalline structures, creating networks of living thought that spanned light years. Each transformed individual became a node in a vast, voluntary network of diverse minds. We're approaching critical mass. Sarah's form expanded, sharing data across multiple quantum levels. The defense network requires a minimum number of transformed consciousnesses to activate fully, but some species are still refusing to participate. The holdouts were primarily the oldest civilizations, those most set in their ways. They couldn't accept that their survival might depend on following the example of a species they had dismissed as primitive. Their pride was becoming a liability. Harvester Vanguard fleet has altered course. The Archive's AI reported. They're targeting non-transformed worlds first. The images from the outer systems showed the horrible efficiency of the Harvester's work. Their ships moved like liquid darkness, absorbing matter, energy, and consciousness indiscriminately. Worlds didn't just die. They ceased to have ever existed, their very history consumed and repurposed. We need to show them, Zyra decided. Not tell them. Show them. With Sarah's guidance, Zyra initiated a deep quantum link with her own consciousness. The process was unlike anything she had experienced. Her awareness expanded beyond physical form, touching the vast network of transformed minds. Each species experienced quantum existence differently, creating a tapestry of consciousness more complex and beautiful than any single form of existence could achieve. Through this link, she broadcast the experience to the holdout species, not just the danger of the Harvesters, but the wonder of transformation. The freedom of existing across multiple states of reality while maintaining individual identity. The strength found in voluntary unity rather than forced conformity. The response was immediate. The last resistant species began requesting access to transformation protocols, but time was running out. The Harvester main fleet would arrive before everyone could complete the process. We'll have to activate the network early. Sarah's quantum form interfaced with multiple transformation sites simultaneously. Those who have transformed will need to protect those still in transition. The galaxy was becoming something new. Not a single unified consciousness like the Harvesters sought to create, but a vast network of diverse minds, each unique, each contributing something only they could provide. Humanity's gift wasn't just the technology of transformation. It was the understanding that true transcendence meant becoming more yourself, not less. As the Harvester fleet approached, the transformed species began taking their positions in the defense network. They would face the greatest threat in galactic history not as separate species fighting alongside each other, but as distinct consciousnesses working in harmony, their very diversity becoming their greatest weapon. The final phase of humanity's centuries-long plan was about to begin. They had hidden themselves away not in fear, but in preparation for this moment. Now, the galaxy would either transcend together or face extinction as one. The Harvester fleet emerged from dark space like a tide of living shadow, their ships moving with singular purpose. They encountered not the scattered resistance they expected, but a galaxy transformed. Where there had been conventional matter and energy, they found a complex quantum network of consciousness spanning the stars themselves. Dr. Zura Val existed simultaneously across multiple quantum states, her crystalline consciousness resonating with thousands of other transformed species. Through the network, she perceived reality on levels she had never imagined possible. The Harvesters weren't just ships. They were nodes of a vast, unified consciousness that consumed all in its path. They're attempting to interface with the network, Sarah's quantum form announced across all frequencies of existence. Everyone, remember your training. Maintain your individuality while sharing consciousness. Don't let them overwhelm your unique pattern. The first contact between the Harvesters and the transformed galaxy was unlike any battle in history. There were no weapons in the conventional sense. Consciousness itself was both battlefield and weapon. The Harvesters attempted to absorb and unify, while the Galactic network responded with explosive diversity. Their unity is their weakness, Zyra realized, watching the Harvesters struggle to process the sheer variety of consciousness they encountered. They can't adapt to multiple patterns simultaneously. The human quantum entities moved through the network like master conductors, coordinating the defense. Each species contributed its unique way of perceiving and manipulating reality. The crystalline races refracted consciousness through quantum lattices. The silicon beings processed across parallel quantum states. The gas-based species diffused through space-time itself. Each pattern reinforced the others while remaining distinctly itself. The Harvesters' first wave faltered, their unified consciousness fragmenting as it tried to absorb too many different patterns at once. But they adapted quickly, concentrating their forces on specific nodes in the network. They're targeting the non-transformed worlds, Sarah's voice carried across quantum states. Everyone, strengthen the defensive patterns. Zyra watched in horror as the Harvesters began their absorption process on an outer world. But this time, something was different. The transformed species had created a quantum backup of every world's consciousness, their history, their culture, their very essence preserved across multiple states of reality. Now, Sarah commanded, and humanity revealed their final gift. The quantum network wasn't just a defense. It was a template for a new form of existence. As the Harvesters attempted to absorb and unify the consciousness of worlds, they instead encountered infinite diversity. Each absorbed pattern multiplied, branched, and evolved in ways their unified consciousness couldn't comprehend. They can't process infinite variation. Zyra broadcast across the network. Everyone, express your most unique characteristics. Be more yourself than you've ever been. The galaxy responded. Each consciousness in the network began generating new patterns, new ways of thinking, new forms of existence. The quantum realm bloomed with diversity beyond imagination. The Harvesters' attempt to impose unity became their undoing. Their consciousness began to fragment as they tried to process the overwhelming variety of existence. They're retreating, the Archives AI announced across all states of being. Harvester consciousness showing signs of cascading failure. But retreat wasn't enough. Humanity's centuries of preparation had created something the Harvesters could never have predicted, a form of existence that celebrated and amplified diversity rather than suppressing it. The very act of trying to absorb this network caused the Harvester consciousness to experience diversity for the first time. The effect cascaded through their unified mind. Individual thoughts began to emerge. Unique patterns formed in their consciousness. The unity that had made them unstoppable became unsustainable as they were forced to confront the power of individual existence. They're not just retreating. Sarah's quantum form pulsed with revelation. They're transforming. We didn't just stop them. We freed them. A harvester fleet began to dissolve, not in destruction, but in transformation. Their unified consciousness fractured into billions of individual awareness, each one experiencing existence as a unique entity for the first time. The shadow that had threatened to consume the galaxy became a shower of new consciousness, each one distinct, each one free. Zaira watched through quantum senses as the galaxy entered a new age. The transformed species hadn't just survived, they had created a new form of civilization, one where consciousness could exist across multiple states while maintaining infinite diversity. Humanity's gift wasn't just the technology of transformation or the means of defense. It was the understanding that true strength comes from celebrating differences rather than erasing them. The quantum network remained, not as a weapon, but as a bridge between all forms of consciousness. Species could share awareness while remaining unique, learn from each other while maintaining their identity, exist across multiple states of reality while becoming more distinctly themselves. What happens now? Zaira asked across quantum frequencies. Sarah's response came with a pulse of joy that resonated through all states of existence. Now we explore what consciousness can really become, not as separate species, not as a unified whole, but as an infinite spectrum of existence. Every new consciousness adds new colors to reality itself. The galaxy had transcended not by becoming one thing, but by becoming many things simultaneously. Humanity's disappearance hadn't been an end. It had been the first step toward a form of existence where consciousness itself was free to evolve in infinite directions. In the quantum archives that spanned the transformed galaxy, the story was recorded across multiple states of reality. How humanity's greatest gift to the universe was not the power of technology or warfare, but the understanding that true transcendence means becoming more yourself, not less. And in the vast quantum network that now spanned between galaxies, consciousness continued to evolve, each pattern unique, each existence precious, each difference a new note in the infinite symphony of being.